So what are the basic components of casual conditioning? There are unconditioned stimulants, unconditioned response, which those are a stimulant that naturally triggers a response, and a naturally occurring response to the unconditioned stimulants. The next one is neutral stimulants and conditioned stimulants, which is a stimulant that has not been paired with the unconditioned stimulants and elects no response. And the conditioned stimulants is a previously neutral stimulants, NS, which is the abbreviation, which can get confusing sometimes, but that are paired with the US, which is unconditioned stimulants, and is the result that triggers a conditioned response. The last one is conditioned response, and it's a learned response that is previously neutral. So unconditional stimulus, is, I think I'm saying it right, but is a classical conditioning, and it is naturally triggered. So say you smell like your favorite food ever, well, it's going to naturally trigger that response to you, and it's going to make you hungry. So unconditioned response is also in the classical conditioning category, and it is a unlearned response that occurs naturally to the unconditioned stimulants. For example, if you smell the food, it is a unconditioned stimulant. The feeling of hunger in a response is the smell to the food as the unconditioned response. Unconditional stimulants is a classical conditioning the conditioned stimulants is previously a neutral stimulant that after become associated with the unconditioned stimulant. A conditioned response is an automatic response. A conditioned response is an automatic response established by training to an ordinary neutral stimulants. So, for example, when you're a kid and like the ice cream truck drives by, like that automatically makes you like want ice cream. Or when you hear a bee next to your ear, it automatically it makes me anyways, like just jump and like look for it because I've always been afraid of bees. So what is the difference between classical conditioning and operant conditioning? Well, classical conditioning occurs when you learn to associate two different stimuli. No behavior is involved. The first stimuli that you will encounter is the unconditioned stimuli. An unconditioned stimuli precedes a response without any previous learning. This response is called an unconditioned response. Operant conditioning involves changes in voluntary behaviors. A behavior response is followed by either a reinforcement or a punishment. A reinforcement following a behavior will cause the behavior to increase. But if the behavior is followed by punishment, the behavior will decrease. For example, if you snuck out of the house and went to a party and your parents didn't punish you, you would think it was okay. But if they did punish you, then you probably wouldn't do it again.